There is a reason black men have not historically been in the home. There is a reason black women have historically struggled on their own to hold households together. Because we dealing with the after effects of that's been happening to us for centuries, we get to blaming each other and like that. Am I saying that a man individually is not responsible for his children? No, my G. If you're not taking care of your kids and you got the ability and space to take care of your kids, you a loser, cuz. We not gonna act like prison is not taking our men away. We not gonna act like the hood not taking our men away. We not gonna act like the stress of being a provider. Like, bruh, men's life expectancy has dropped, the lowest in America, you feel me? And this not me making excuses for you feel me? I'm saying that when we talk about black people, when you talk about like Section 8 and shit like that, make sure you mention the housing crisis that affects majority black women, you feel me? If we gonna talk about black men not being in the home, let's make sure we talk about mass incarceration. Don't just sit up here and like hurl insults at each other. This shit delicate, my G. These people tune into this. They gonna go home with these opinions in their mouths and beat up on other black people because the we say up here, bruh. It's facts that have to do with this conversation.
Tell us how you really feel, brother. Dang. Well, yes.
We've been saying that for a minute.
Yeah.
Like there's so. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I was just gonna say there are so many. There are so many reasons as to why we as a people are the way we are and where we are. There's definitely reasons for that. I just think it's time that we get past the blame, because it's just like, what is that doing for us? The reasons why we are where we are, part of the reasons why we are separated, because it was intentional to rip the black man out of the household. Because if you take the father out the home, you destroy the family structure. That was intentional. That was done in our homes. Yes. Well, some of you may believe that, some of you may not, but just rock with what I'm saying. If we continue to men is trash, women is trash, and we going back and forth at each other or what have you, like, we are just helping what was already done to us, like, to keep us separate but not equal. Okay, like you're keeping us divided with that mentality. And I think that there is room for us to be understanding of one another as to why we are the way that we are. No, of course, none of us are perfect, but we all, I think, have to take the time to do the work to try to fix the things that were broken in us, that we saw broken growing up, you know, in our homes, in our communities and things of that nature. We need to recognize it and actually take the time to do the self work so that we can be better individuals, so that we can be in better relationships, so we can build stronger relationships and build stronger families, and thus creating stronger communities. I'll be quiet for now. You can go ahead.
I mean, that was real. That was a good take. Some people will take it all the way back to slavery and how they were intentionally trying to poison the minds of the people, because if you can get the mind of the person, you no longer have to do any work. They'll do the work themselves. So there's that part of it. Then there's also the part of, you know, we finally got out of that. We were making headway. We were coming together. You know, they were actually doing a lot of the things that it was bet that we would not do. But then you have to understand the wars came. And when the wars came, people got drafted. And after they got drafted and they came home, they had mental damage from going through all of this PTSD, but they weren't getting help. Instead, they seek drugs. And then while they were seeking drugs, then they had mass incarceration. So just for y'all to know, I did the 60s, I did the 70s. Now we're in the 80s. Now you have the drug boom. Crack cocaine is now a thing in the streets. And then you got brothers out there both selling and taking. And the reason that you have customers is you got people coming home from war dealing with all of this stuff. They got hooked on drugs in the 70s doing the peace and love thing. And then, you know what I'm saying, going into the 90s, the women became independent. And then into the 2000s, that just continued to exacerbate this problem. And then there's a whole other side of it, of the chances of you getting locked up are much lower if you're not doing anything to get locked up for. So there's another part of it where you have to take some accountability. Right. So there's accountability to be taken on our part, but then there's also things that were done to us. And then there were things that happened as a result of historical events that was not necessarily our fault. My dad got drafted. My uncles got drafted. And we're still suffering the effects of that today, because that affected how he treated me. And I've already mined out a lot of that stuff, and that's affecting the way I treat my children. And I'm learning to try to be the stopgap. I want to be the last generation that has to deal with the curses that came from the Vietnam War. But understanding what my dad go through, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, despite whatever deficits that experience gave him and what he went through after that. Because when he came out of it, it was an amazing thing to see somebody rebound like that, because they put their trust in their life in the hands of God. Watching something like that gives you a certain perspective and a respect for them. I still have to deal with the consequences of what was going on in my house while he was still going through all of the crap from all of the PTSD from being in Vietnam and seeing people standing there with their body parts blown off. We have to understand as people that there are way more things going on here than the men just didn't feel like it.
Right.
There's more going on here than the women they just want to be masculine and independent. No. All of these things are caused by events, some out of our control, some we played a part in, but we got to deal with the consequences of all of them, even if we coming out on the other side of it.
Right.
Some black families came out and they found a way to break those curses, those generational curses earlier. And some people still laying in them because none of us went to go and get psychiatric help to actually fix what was going on in our head. And then some families didn't have to worry about getting drafted. Some families don't have to worry about their dad. My dad got drafted. My uncle got drafted. My grandfather got drafted, and they don't have to deal with those effects. So it's going to look different for every family depending on what happened. And he was 100% right. And I really resonated with that clip because, some of the things that happened in my family, I'm one of the people that have personally been affected by those events. So I get where he's coming from, and he's right. It's a lot more nuance to that situation than people like to let on. Yeah.
Hopefully we know and we take these things into consideration and understand that these are real things that real people in society that you meet and deal with on a day-to-day basis, and you probably date, have dealt with in life, and that helps to shape the person that they are. So we do have to allow space and grace for certain things when it comes to that. Like everybody has their cutoff point, I guess, as far as like what you can and can't deal with.
All right, guys, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to hit that subscribe button. I need you to hit that notification button. I need you to hit all the buttons.
Yes.
Thank you. Hopefully y'all got something out of it. If y'all have any like inquiries, like stuff that y'all want us to react to, please send it to us.
Yeah.
It was j&oshow.info at gmail.com.
Yep, it's down in the description.
Yo, send us some stuff that y'all would want us to react to. Something that y'all find interesting. That would be a great thing. That way we can sort of understand what it is that you guys want us to speak to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Hey, everybody. Down in the description, there are 2 links.
One is to a GoFundMe, and the other one is to a video that explains what the GoFundMe is for. Long story short, we have a medical situation with our daughter that we have to pay for everything out of pocket, and we could really use you guys' help. If you have the time, we'd love for you to go check it out. If you have the money, the funds, we'd love for you guys to help. If not, maybe you could send a link to somebody else who can help. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Peace.
Press the out button.